increasing the value for the customer and the seller. Product selection is really directly related to the product availability. If it's out there, pay attention to what you have. If you have two products, you may want to sit down and advertise you have five and see what the market's like for the other three designs that you have. And then maybe you get the three other products. It just depends what your marketing strategy is. But if you pull something like that, you better make certain you have a fast track to those other three products. Otherwise, customers will get ticked off that you haven't fulfilled that value selection that you've been promising. Amazon doesn't necessarily hold inventory on very low selling items. The other companies out there carry it. Sometimes Amazon does third-party selling, where instead of Amazon holding it in their warehouse, you actually are buying it directly from the vendor themselves, whatever country, whatever place you're at, and it takes a longer time to get there. If you notice in Amazon, if it says this product may not be available within 3 days, all of a sudden it's coming from a different country, it's probably coming directly from the actual company itself rather than being from Amazon warehouses. And they haven't told you that, which frankly is really a poor business idea, in my opinion, but they haven't called me lately on the phone to discuss their different marketing products. Fashion retailers offer a large selection of fashion products, but emphasize scarcity, not availability. Go back to that Zara model. I'm fascinated by it. I've known they've been one of the top end retailers, but the core of their model of only having small chunks of inventory available than having a constant stream of order on a weekly basis. That is brilliant strategy. They really were the leaders of fast fashion, and they don't compromise any quality. Where you have Shein and Temu, they're out there cheap, fast. They have a different strategy. They have brilliant technology in the process. And actually, Shein is out there trying to sell its own technology to other companies. And frankly, if it pertained to me, I'd be really interested in how it is. They do a great job of sales and marketing. Depends what they're out there. But the fast pace creates an urgency to purchase, reduces inventory. We all want to sit there and reduce inventory, and eliminates the need for any kind of a discount. The downside of the whole potential upside, same thing, selling more popular products. That sounds like a good upside for both things. Anyhow, price cannot be a differential in many industries. Isn't that true? Sometimes you need to have that thing. I gotta have it. And it looks almost like the other thing that's next to it, except something was innovated with this brand and you happen to like that brand. I like that look. You know what? I like that color. They don't have the color and they don't have quite the cut as okay. Sometimes we just like what we like and we want to purchase what we like. Companies like Dell and Walmart, they use a cost reduction strategies to improve profit. They accepted that they're not going to make 50% profit on a computer. They accepted they're going to make between 20 and 25% of computer, but they sell lots, and they make their profit that way. It depends what you're out there. Once upon a time, I was in the fashion industry. The end I was in is called sewing, and we would actually bring our different stuff out on the sales floor and we get in the back door, and sometimes get stuff called flat fold, where actually it was literally folded flat. We would put it on a long table. Customer come in, they would buy it. We would have a high price tag when it first came out, and then it got picked over. We dropped the price. Then it get picked over again. We dropped the price again until finally the stuff we priced at $2.98 a yard. It was down to 2 yards for $1. It was cheap. It was pretty much ugly, but at the end of the day, that's what you're getting for. But the top end, we paid the same price for all of it, but people got to choose exactly what they wanted, and some of it was stunningly beautiful and gorgeous and looked fabulous when they turned it into whatever creation they wanted to in the process. Sometimes they chose that high-end look and they would go shopping for it, and sometimes they can turn the 2 yards for $1 into something spectacular just as well, a little bit different look in the process. Sometimes pay attention to who your customers are. Sometimes you can sell the whole spectrum depending upon what it is. Brand names become a guarantee for quality. Some of you that are watching this video, if you went into your closet, you would find some specific things. I have to have this brand. It's the only shoes I will ever buy as long as I live, as long as I die. When I die, in my casket, I want these shoes upon my feet. Yes. There are people like that too. You can even buy your own casket if you want to online at Costco. Right now they're selling for $9.99, or you can get a really fancy one for $12.99. Some people have to buy this car. My dad had one of these cars, and I remember him driving it down the street and then process. Okay, some of us love a specific brand. Some of us are looking for pricing. Pricing is the most important thing. Some of us like a brand for this. Some of us want pricing for this. We have different tastes because we're all unique individuals, which makes it great to be in a country that's capitalistic because we get to pick and choose from a whole matrix full of different things for us to buy, where other countries, you don't have the selection that we have. Depends what you're looking for. Additional services on the specific product. By bundling your services, you can sit down and make more profit. If you buy this, this, and this, if you bundle these three services, we'll give you a super deal. And you sign up for this, and then we'll take your money out of your pocket every month, and you'll save a lot of money, and we'll make a lot of money. It's a deal, isn't it? Bundling services, bundling products, all that works together. If you buy this car, I know it's a 2-year used car, and you're being a smart one because you're getting rid of all that 30% when you drive it off the lot when it's new. Okay, you're being smart, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to sell you this extended warranty on the engine and the drivetrain in the process. And I'll toss in the warranty on those rims. You got those nice rims, you bump them up against a curb, and I've heard it before. If you ever get in the car market, you will hear a good sales rep selling you additional services on their car. You just bought this television. You paid $998 for this fancy high-end television. You too can buy a 3-year extended warranty for, and you hear that. It's called value-added services. Both sides win, and sometimes if you play your cards right, it's going to really benefit you big picture-wise. Get closer to that customer. Find out what they need, increase the information you gather. And a lot of times it's for sale. Good night. The CIA is finding information on Americans from the different vendors that are tracking what we buy, what we eat, what we drink, where we go, where we travel in the process. Examples, B2B, business to business services, B2B, B2B services. They offer additional services to increase revenue. If you're going to buy from this company over here, by the way, you have this. Whenever you go on Amazon, you buy a hose. Most customers that buy this hose over here, they also buy the following 3 products. Oh, okay. And if you get all 3 of them, you'll get this discount. And all of a sudden, man, it's called value-added services. It works. People like it. It's convenient. And if you toss in the aspect, you can buy it now, and one click on top of it, all of a sudden the world is really good. IBM used to be noted for giant mainframe computers. If you want to buy a computer, you always bought an IBM. Now we all have PCs. Nobody buys a big mainframe except the big corporations. And even then, it's kind of questionable if they should really have it. Most of their services come, and that's what they primarily sell are services. Pay attention to what's always out there. Traditional versus service, it depends what you have. Traditional supply chain versus service supplier, product variety, and the service is always high. Response time, hours versus days. If you're in the service industry, you have high response time, and you can sit down there and specialize that, and people can count on you. That plays an awful lot in the aspect of what you need and how to go about executing that. The final level of value is that increased connection between the firm and the customer relationship. If you can figure out how to sit down there and maintain that, that's a fabulous thing. My first experience came through a college foundation of all things. I sat down there and we had this guy named Sam. Sam Hook was a good Southern boy. He had all these corny Southern jokes and everything else. That dog don't hunt. Okay, Sam was probably one of the most gifted people when it came down to getting people interested in donating to a cause of community colleges. He had a gift and he was skilled with it. And he says, David, I bought the software package, and by the time it was all done, I send them a birthday card. I send them whatever information they have. We try to find out when they got married, and we find out about this. We find out about their grandkids. We send them. We try to. The goal is to have 6 contacts every single year with every donor. And Sam increased the size of our foundation 500% in 4 years by having this technique of 6 times a year touching connection with the different donors. It's brilliant. And it doesn't work just for giving, it works for everything in the world of business. People like to be acknowledged, they like to be appreciated, they like the fact that somebody remembers them, even if it's a matter of you buy a car from them. Pay attention to that, because if you get a car and you're getting a commission of $3,000 or $4,000, you should remember the birthday, because maybe they'll somebody will buy them a car and you'll get to $3,000 on a regular basis. So it depends what you're doing and depends what you're selling. People like to have a human connection. That's why corporate storytelling is a big thing. And if you have a good corporate story behind what you're doing, then pay attention to that. That relationship really is about providing customer value. A lot of sites, the internet sites, especially with artificial intelligence, they have new modes of learning with suggested to customers based upon their purchase history, a little bit like those Amazon things. They tell you on the very bottom, customers buy this, they also buy that. Start figuring how you can work that into your system over here. Look on the corporate versus the individual consumers, what's out there, product variety, corporations. I want this. We call it B2B, business to business selling, where the individual, well, I might like that over here. It looks better in this color here. And all of a sudden, instead of buying, we always buy gray cars. Okay, well, maybe having 7 different colors of car would be better for the individual, because gray cars are always cheap, they're always boring. We like boring vehicles all the time. Well, over here, maybe you want to have something that's yellow, orange, who knows in the process. So pay attention to the difference as to how you're selling between the two different aspects of corporate versus the individual. To create a unique selling proposition, you do not have to look all just like that, even if you're selling a similar product. Maybe something that's odd, maybe something that's strange, maybe something that's just one step different than everybody else will be the best thing. Pay attention as to what the customer values and try to be unique in your approach to how you sell it, unique in your approach as to how you respond to the customer, and if you can, unique in the service you offer or unique in the product as you go and develop that. Value is the customer perception. Meet it. Take care.